Good
We
evening,
are
Narada sir, and good evening, Venkateshwara
yeah, we
sir.
are really waiting for your presentation.
Yeah, sorry sir, sorry for being late.
It's okay. It's okay. We have no obligations after coming
Thank
from school.
thank you, sir.
Understand?
Thank you, sir. How are you, sir? Very glad to see you
Fine.
here, sir.
Fine. Fine. Remember,
Thank you, sir.
today it's third chapter,
Yeah, I think it's fifth chapter, sir.
fifth chapter.
Yeah, mine is fifth
Yeah,
chapter.
right. Right.
Uh,
Third, fourth, complete. Right. Fifth chapter. Right. Fourth chapter.
yes,
Right. Fifth chapter.
yes, sir. May I continue, sir?
Only 18 members, but we have to
Start.
go as per the schedule.
Yeah, start the session, Gautam.
Good evening, Vinay, sir. Shall I, sir?
Yeah, start.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Good evening, Padmavati
Good
ma'am.
evening, Padmati ma'am.
Very good evening, madam. We have
Good
fun.
evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
How
How
are
are
you?
you all, sir?
Very nice. Excellent.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. All the best, Roja. Carry on.
Thank you, Padmavati ma'am. Thanks a lot for all the support you have extended to me. Thank you.
No issue at all.
So, shall I continue?
Ma'am, you may start.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Sorry. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rojarani Madhareddy, working as school assistant at GHS Naveen Nagar. I would like to go on as a part of this Hanvi's British Council's Hanvi's Exploratory Action Research Project. Now, I would like to continue with the fifth chapter, timeline, establishing the communication channels, and keeping records. Let me share my screen, sir. Shall I, sir?
Yes, you
Yes,
may.
yes.
So today's topic is I would like to share my viewpoints upon this. Actually, whatever I say here, this is nothing but we are once again having a detailed comprehension of the handbook provided by Mr. Richard Smith for the exploratory action research for the teachers. So now I'm going on with the fifth unit that is mentoring the teachers in exploratory action research handbook given by Richard Smith. The fifth unit, planning timeline, communication, and keeping records. And before I go on with this fifth unit, as a mentor of this exploratory action research project, I would like to I would like to introduce my own teacher researchers um, as a mentor. I have got 7 teacher researchers working with me, and I welcome all of them as a part of this program, along with all the other participants over here. Mr. Beji Satyanarayana working as school assistant, um, Mrs. Anita Boimi working as school assistant in English, Anita Tatipalli working as school SGT secondary grade teacher, and Bhavna ma'am working as SGT, Mrs. Anuradha working as PGT, Mr. Narinder Odela working as school assistant English, and L. Sandhya working as school assistant in English. So I have got 7 members at present as my team, and we all have an introductory meet wherein we discussed about the differences between the action research and the general research, and we went on to discuss about the exploratory action research also. But now, as a part of this program, I would be very pleased to invite all of them along with other participants to know something more in detail about exploratory action research and the steps involved in them. Now, coming to the today's session, I'm going on with the unit 5 that is planning timeline, communication and keeping records. My dear friends, earlier we have discussed about what is research, what are the different stages involved in the exploratory action research. I mean the stages of exploratory action research, and we also went on with what is the role of a mentor, how the mentor has to influence the researchers and has to provide the support to the teacher researchers, and what are the qualities and responsibilities of the mentor, wherein in the last class taken by Narendra Reddy sir, we discussed about how to develop. That means that's one of the qualities and important responsibilities of the mentors is to develop the trust and confidence among the teacher researchers. So with that, now in continuation with that, we are going to discuss about planning timeline by the mentors and how to establish the different communication channels to have an interaction with their mentors. Also, the importance of keeping records during this exploratory action research. So now the main aim or the objectives of this today's session or this unit is, the first thing is we need to know the timeline and time management. And also this session is going to clarify us to provide the structure of exploratory action research. It also makes us to know to establish the effective communication channels and also to keep records of meetings and the progress. So with these objectives of the session to be fulfilled, let me continue with this unit. The first thing is timeline. Actually, what is timeline and what is the need of this timeline? As you all know, my dear teacher friends, that here when we go for taking up an action research, wherein we are identifying the classroom problem and trying to find a solution in a systematic process, first of all, once we identify the problem, we need to provide a structure, a clear-cut structure via a shared timeline. What I mean to say here is, we need to give the structure involving the different stages of the research. Of course, we will be discussing together as a mentor with the teacher researchers, and it is our responsibility as a mentor to provide the structure, what to do, when to do, for how much time they can go on in that stage, in that. That means a shared timeline. I mean to say, we need to prescribe, we need to, sir, we need to have a clear-cut structure of what we are going to do as a part of this project, along with the timeline. That means the scheduling the time. So the first thing is we need to have meetings with the teacher researchers, that too month-wise and week-wise. What is the need of this? Actually, we need to discuss with the teacher researchers regularly. We need to be in touch with them to know, to help them, and to be a role model, and also to be supportive to them in all the different phases. So we need to be frequently in touch with them. I mean to say, we need to have regular and frequent meetings with the teacher researchers to discuss all the related problems related to our exploratory action research or the problem identified. But in order to have the repeated meetings, we need to, in order to provide a structure, a clear-cut structure of what to do, how to do, when to do, then for that we need to concentrate upon three different points. That means providing a different clear-cut structure of what to do involves three different things. One is deciding, predicting, and imagining. What is deciding? First of all, as a mentor, we need to decide on the stages of teacher research you expect the teachers to move to. That means what are the different stages of research through which our teacher researchers are expected to move on. We all know the different stages of exploratory action research which we discussed in the previous classes. So we need to decide upon what are the different stages through which our teacher researchers have to move based upon the problem identified by them. The next thing is we need to predict how long each stage will take. I mean to say, for example, we took the second stage as planning. How much time we do take for the planning? How much time we need to allocate for the action? How much time we need to give allocation for the data collection? I mean, say in the action, we will be implementing different strategies. We will be collecting the data. We will be once again analyzing the data, and we will be once again coming to the conclusion, that is reflection process. So here, as a mentor, we need to go for deciding the different stages, and we also need to predict how long it will take or how much time it will be taken by the teacher researchers for each stage. So, and how come we can predict this? Actually, this would be based upon what you know of the participants and their teaching situations, because we know the teachers will be coming from different backgrounds of the school. That means our schools where we teach will be different from one another, and the needs of the learners and the problems of the learners will be different. So based upon what we know about our teacher researchers and about the needs of their students and the problems identified by them and their teaching situations, whether it is a remotest where the technology is not available, or whether they have got all the facilities, and what is the level of the students and how well they can convey, or how well they can try to solve the problems, what are the different strategies that can be taken up by the teacher researchers, knowing based upon the knowledge of our teacher researchers, complete knowledge of what the problem they have identified, what kind of different strategies they are going to take up, and how they are going to find solution for their problems. Here, after knowing that, the complete knowledge of them will make us to predict how long each stage will take for each teacher researchers. I mean to say, this would be different from one teacher researcher to the other teacher researcher. Of course, approximately we predict the time, but it may vary from one teacher researcher to the other teacher researcher based upon the problem they identified. And the last thing is imagining at what points teacher will need different kinds of support. I mean to say, we decide the different stages through which the action research can be taken up. We also predict how long it would continue. I mean, each stage would take. But the last thing is, we also should consider it upon at what points our teacher researchers need the different kinds of support from the mentors. That is, sometimes based upon their needs, we can go for individual extension of the support individually, that is one-to-one conference. That means directly face-to-face we can go and help them. And sometimes we may, of course, we can also go for virtual mode, one-to-one mode. And sometimes we need to give the complete. That means we might be needed to give the support, extend the support to the complete group. Then we can go for webinars or workshop. There is a group meet, we can say, or the mode of communication can be virtual or the face-to-face. But what I mean to say here is deciding the different stages, predicting how long each stage will take based upon the teachers what and the problems they have taken up, and also imagining the different kinds of support a mentor has to extend in future during the process of action research. Here we can decide a different structure, and we can also share the time, that we can allocate the time and share the same structure and timeline with our group members. And this is the main responsibility of the teacher, I mean the mentor. And here we need to have regular and frequent meets with the teacher researchers in order to be supportive with them and help. I mean, when I use help, please excuse me, I don't mean that as the mentors we know many things and the teacher research may not know. Here the thing is, we need to be in touch, we need to discuss, and we need to find a solution for the problem, and we can negotiate different things. Sometimes whatever I say may not be working out, so we need to have the collective information, interactive, collaborative learning between the mentor and the teacher researchers. May I go for presentation mode? Okay. Yeah, sorry. Now, what is actually the need and importance of timeline? That means why should we provide this structure? Why should we allocate different time for different stages? For that, let us discuss what is the need of providing this timeline to the teachers as a mentor. Actually, it provides start and end dates. I mean to say the tentative dates. I don't mean to say that they should be rigid. Once again, approximate beginning dates and end dates of each and every stage. What is the need of this? This may motivate the teachers, and this may also make them to be work oriented. That means, okay, this is a deadline, so I need to do something. So this may, in order to motivate the teacher researchers and be stringent at their works, we need to give the timeline. So it provides start and end dates, and it gives direction to the teacher researchers in what way they have to go. That means when we give the dates along and the time prescribed for each and every stage, that would provide them a direction, a proper direction, and to be on track. And it keeps the teacher researchers on track, makes teacher researchers to know where they are and what to do. That means at every stage, after the completion of first stage, so next what to do. Now I have reflected upon, I have identified the problem. Now my next thing is I have to go for planning, and then I have to go for the action. So what kind of action I have to take, and then what kind of data collective measures I have to take up. Like that, after completion of each and every stage, this is what I did. Then what is the next step? What is the next step? What is the next? That stepwise, it makes them to know where they are and what to do next. In the same way, if we give such kind of systematic layout along with the time prescribed, tentative of course, then it makes the teacher researchers feel secured. Because once they complete one of the steps, they feel secure. Oh, the first step is completed, I'm on the track, I can go for the second one. Then it also makes the teachers to be focused. In the same way, the discussion of milestones and deadlines inculcates a sense of commitment among the teacher researchers. That means, what are the milestones that are to be achieved, and also the deadline that is prescribed. When we go for group discussion or individual discussion between the mentor and the teachers, or among the mentor and the teachers, we go for the discussion of the milestones to be achieved, and this stimulates the teacher researchers to do what, and by what time. So it also inculcates a sense of commitment among the teacher researchers so that they can come, they would complete the task and achieve success. Next, time management and now when the timeline is helping the teacher researcher in such a way. Now, what is the role of a mentor in time management? Actually, the two important challenges the people face in the exploratory action research is time management and the communication, modes of communication. So the first thing is time management. How to manage the time? How come we can complete the given task or our action research project within the given timeline? So in order to manage the time, in order to complete the action research project within the given time and also find a solution and be successful, mentor plays a quite responsible role. So what is the role of a mentor as a part of this timeline, providing the structure, timeline, and also time management? Let us have a glimpse of these roles of a mentor during this process. As a mentor, we need to be proactive. What do you mean by proactive? Here, we should always be inspiring. We should always be flexible. We should always be stimulating and friendly. And whatever we say to them, before that, we need to do something which makes them to get stimulated. That means we should be inspiring, stimulating, encouraging, and always be committed towards the work. And then we need to plan the timeline in advance. That means in order to make them to do something, we need to give a direction to the future researchers as a mentor. So for that, we need to plan the timeline in advance before we go to the next stage. I mean to say, suppose now we have started the project work. So here what to do? First of all, we need to plan the timeline for how many time, that means how many weeks you are going to dedicate to the observation process, how many weeks you are going to dedicate or months you are going to dedicate for the planning, how many times you are going to for collection, how much time you are dedicating for the collection of data, observation, and that means planning, acting, and then collection of data, and then reflecting, and then observation. Like that, we have got 6 steps here. So what we are going to do and how you are allocating the time, for every stage we have to prescribe and plan the timeline in advance before we have a meet with the teacher researchers. So beginning and end dates are to be prescribed. Why? What is the need of this? This provides a sense of direction to the teacher researchers. If we give the starting dates and the end dates, definitely it provides a sense of direction. And also we have to plan the meetings in advance, and these meetings should be regular and repeated and frequent at the convenience of the teacher researchers. I mean to say, this is not at the convenience of the mentor, but at the convenience of both mentor and the teacher researchers. And then we need to prescribe deadlines for each stage of the exploratory action research. And here we should also give the information, provide the information of kinds of reporting, how they could report what they found. That means either it should be oral reporting or written reporting in a written form. Then what are the different types of reporting? What kind of records they have to maintain? How they have to note down everything? So everything, that means how to report, what are the different types of reporting process and recording process, everything should be provided by the mentor. That means we need to give a general idea about all these things. And we need to have an idea, first of all, as a mentor. Then we need to be flexible. That is, the mentor needs to be flexible. That is, I mean to say, suppose that we said that we have to prescribe the deadlines and we have to plan in advance, well in advance, the beginning and end dates. But these are the approximate end dates. Here, of course, we need to prescribe it, but it is not a rigid one. It is tentative, and that means we need to be flexible, taking overall agreement from the teacher researchers. Why? Because we are all working as a group. So we need to take the overall agreement of the teacher researchers in prescribing the end dates, and we can negotiate all the things and we can plan. Sometimes we plan it, we try to do everything stringently, but even then, sometimes we may not accomplish the task in the given time. Then what to do? We may go for something else. That means we can go for extension. And suppose that we plan something, but we might not be successful. Then what to do? Once again, we need to replan and go for extension of the same, doing the same thing in a different manner. That's the reason we need to be flexible. And we should always take the opinions of the teacher researchers and be open-minded. We should keep timeline open for negotiation by the teacher researchers. We should set a good example. What do I mean to say by the mentor to set a good example? He should be a role model in keeping promises. For example, we said that we are going to have a meet tomorrow. Then definitely we need to conduct the meet unless it is unavoidable. So be a role model in prescribing the things, in doing the research, in doing everything. That means whatever we do, we should be a role model, and we should never violate the promises. We should always keep promises of whatever the support we promise them to extend. That means suppose that of course we are there to discuss the collection of the different process of collection of data. What is data collection? We did definitely give the knowledge of data collection. Suppose that we say that it is our duty or our responsibility as a mentor to help them to analyze the data in different ways. Then definitely we need to keep that promise and we need to help them. That means one more thing is, whenever we say that tomorrow there is a meet, definitely we need to keep up that promise unless that is unavoidable. And be supportive, provide support in all the possible ways at different stages, build sense of confidence. That means if we are supportive and if we try to provide support in all the different possible ways at different stages of action research or exploratory action research, wherever they want, in whatever the form they need, definitely it builds a sense of confidence among teacher researchers, and that gives the success. And not only this, we should be encouraging. In order to create a sense of commitment among the teacher researchers, we should always be encouraging, be positive. Because sometimes we may not, in spite of our efforts, we may not find the success 100%. Then what to do? And sometimes we may not reach the target. Then what to do? It's not that we can't discourage. We need to encourage. So be encouraging, be positive, and be flexible. And then in spite of all these things, we see most of the mentors to express the different challenges faced by them during their mentoring process. So let us focus upon the common challenges that are being faced by the mentors. The first thing is related to, you can see here, time management. Most of the mentors, they exact, this is a common challenge, that is time management. Most of them feel this to be a problem or difficulty to manage the time. In what way? As with teachers, our main challenge was time management. It was very difficult for us to address every concern on time. I mean to say, wherever the teacher researchers wanted the support, some may not be, and that means may not be addressed. Every difficulty may not be addressed on time or in time. So time management is becoming a problem, and this is the common challenge being faced by the us. Some, because even the mentor is also a teacher, and we have all got the different roles to be played at the schools. So sometimes we may not find time to extend the support and to complete the task within the stipulated time. So time management is being a common challenge. Then what is the second common challenge which is being faced by the mentors in the action research process? Second thing is leaves. I mean to say, here we are supposed to complete the project within the deadline. We were not given leave either. We used our earned leaves to cope with this. That means, as we may not, sometimes we may not complete the task or the project within the given or stipulated deadline. Then what do? In order to complete that, being committed, we go for applying our earned leaves. So not enabling them to take the leaves is also being a problem. Our usage of earned leaves is also being taken up as a common challenge for them. That means they face the problem that they have to apply the earned leaves. Then meeting deadlines. Sometimes as we always that meeting deadlines as mentor and getting the teachers to meet the deadlines were a struggle, because we prescribe it, we try to meet it, and because of our different roles, we may not face it. And sometimes the lack of cooperation and lack of collaboration between the teachers and teacher research and the mentors may also lead to this problem. And the last one is balancing the job and project commitment was the greatest difficulty, because we have got our own teaching job, and apart from that, now we are involved in a project. So balancing both of them sometimes may be the greatest difficulty. But here, everything is a challenge. We need to take the challenges being very courageous and bold. And we know challenges always strengthen our conviction. So let us try to face these challenges and accomplish our task. So how to overcome these challenges? In order to these are the common challenges. Don't we face these challenges tomorrow? Being involved in this action research project, we may also face the problem of these leaves. We may also face the problem of sometimes completing the task within the deadlines, right? So in order to overcome these common challenges, which will be faced by almost all the teacher researchers and the mentors, here so that with this good planning and prediction of what we are going to do and what kind of result we may get before we actually do the task will definitely make us to become successful overcoming all these challenges. What are they? Let us have a brief look about them. How many teachers? That means before we go for starting the exploratory action research, we first go on deciding how many teachers you be working with. That means as a mentor, actually, who are my team members, with how many teachers I am going to work with, because I have to devote my time here. I refer to all the people over here. So we need to first of all plan what is our group. We need to think about what is our group. That means what is the strength of our group. How much time I have to devote for each and every member, like that. So planning and predicting involves, we need to have a look upon how many teachers will you be working with. What do you think will be the normal frequency of individual interactions with you? Daily or weekly or fortnightly or monthly? I mean to say, how many times we need to interact with each of them. Just now we said that, just before coming to this slide, we said that we need to have frequent and regular meetings with the teacher researchers in order to provide continuous support. Then how should we determine how how long how many times at a place in our diary, and how much time will this take from your life, and will this be feasible? For example, I have got 7 members, and suppose that I thought of taking conducting weekly meets with them, and 7 members weekly meets. In initial stages of this work, we may have the group meets, but later on, when we continue for the planning and action stages, definitely I need to have individual meets. Not only I, almost all of you. So what to do then? For example, 7 members. If I want to have a meet, I plan for weekly meet. For 7 members, 7 days will be there, right? So what I mean to say, this is taking from your life, and will it be possible? Because doing my own job and balancing my own family and professional time, how much time I can devote to them? Is it really possible that I can have weekly meet with them? Then what do I do? When I go for individual meets, I can take that for 2 members. I would be going for that means for every fortnightly. Then it would be okay. Like that, based upon our own purpose. First of all, we need to decide what is the strength of our team, how much frequent, that means how frequently you would like to meet with your group. In the initial stages, weekly it can be because it is group meet, but when we go for the different stages, next stages, third and fourth stages, we can go for fortnightly depending upon the members of our team. And how frequently do you plan to bring your teacher researchers together? That means how much planning stage or the action stage, I may have the fortnightly meets, individual meets with my teacher researchers. But actually, I have to make them to be together, because they will be learning in collaboration. We learn from each other, right? So that is each other and one another. So in order to make them learn, that means collaborative learning. Once again, I need to plan to bring all the teacher researchers to. How often can I bring all the teacher researchers together? Definitely, it can be monthly or fortnightly. Now it is weekly, everybody will be there, but later on it might be fortnightly. For every 15 days, we can make them to be together. All of us will be together, and all of us will be learning from them, and even we can extend the cooperation in sharing our own problems and our own strategies for others. In the same way, that means for collaborative learning, we need to plan about our own meets, individual meets, group meets, and collaborative meets. In the same way, at what times of day will you be able to communicate with teachers? Of course, I planned that I would be having daily meet or weekly meet. Then at what times? In the same way, when I say that I will be meeting with them in the daytime, for how much duration? For example, I can have every day I need to talk with one of the teacher researcher. For how much time? Is it for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 15 minutes or half an hour? It depends upon the stage of the research they are doing and kind of support they need at different pressure points. Pressure points, I mean to say, when they feel a pressure, we need to be there supportive to them. So based upon the stage of the action research, based upon the problem they face, based upon the support they needed, we need to have the duration to. But first of all, we need to predict. For example, now I plan that I need to have a daily talk with them. I need to have a weekly group meet at this stage, initial stages. Do you want to be open for communication without warning from teacher? If so, at what time? That means before they could ask me, am I ready to face to have a meet with them? If so, at what times and in what way I'm going to use that meet in a fruitful manner. So this is about the timeline. That means first we need to provide as a mentor, we need to plan for how many, what are the different stages of the action research, and for each stage, how much time I have to allocate, and then what I'm going to do, whether I'm going for individual meets or the group meets, and then how long I will be, what is the duration with the of my meet, and also I need to predict their problems and at what stages they need my individual attention. This is about the timeline. Now let us go for the second challenge. So once we have the good timeline, once we provide a good time structure of action, different structure of timeline, and also the support to the teacher researchers. Now the second challenge usually we face in the exploratory action research is effective communication. Communication, we all know it's a mean um, receiving and sending. That means here we need to know, in order to know each other, in order to know and help support each other and one another, we need to have good effective communication in the between among the mentor and the teacher researchers. So first, before we go on to know how to establish effective communication, let's have a glimpse of what are the different challenges faced by the mentors. Usually the mentors come up with these challenges. They say that it was a bit of challenge to communicate with a few teachers. I mean to say, sometimes the teachers may not be open. Suppose that being suppose that being the teacher, usually every man is social being, and I mean here every human being is social being, and every person is egoistic. I mean, so we always be important for ourselves. So sometimes we may face a problem, but we may not come forward to explain it or to take the support of our mentors. So that's the reason it was a bit of the challenge to communicate with a few teachers, as they might not be giving the time, or they might not be following the timeline that is prescribed by the mentor, or sometimes they might not be in um, open with the mentors in discussing their own problems and what is their progress and in where they need the support. So here teacher researcher should be open, should be friendly, and also should be stringent at work and committed and follow the timeline. If this is possible, we can overcome this challenge. Then the second most important and the common challenge that is faced with the mentors related to communication is communicating with the teachers and making them understand what I wanted to convey, but draining at times. That means sometimes what happened, we try to come in the group mates or in the individual mates, we try to communicate what we need to do, how we can accomplish the task, what kind of strategies we can adapt. That means we would be sharing with each other. But whatever we say, sometimes it would be appearing to be draining. That means when the teacher researchers may not understand, means lack of good communication, might be the lack of good communication between them, or might be the teacher researchers are reluctant to sorry to say this, even a mentor also, it is applicable to both the people. So sometimes the communication fails, misunderstanding might be there, might be lack of communication will be there. So sometimes the mentors feel that whatever they communicate has become a waste. Now, we being the teachers all know what might be the reason, right, sir? And then initially, lack of open communication was the biggest struggle for me. All the three challenges here, once again, convey only one point, that is, sometimes the teacher researchers and the mentors may not be open. So, what I would like to conclude here, my dear friends, is we are here on a particular purpose. And here, we are here to do something collectively. So, here we need to be open. Whatever the problems we face, whatever the doubt we have, we need to be open, share with the mentor and share with other core teacher researchers so that we can find a problem. So the only thing I would like to say by this is we need to have a open communication. And when can we have an open communication? An open communication when we are very friendly with the teacher researchers. So here we need to be friendly and we need to be a role model and we need to instigate. That means we need to provide such kind of comfort to the teacher researchers so that they can be very friendly and we need to have frequent meets with them. Then only we can get this open communication. Then what are the different channels of communication? Let's have a look at it. That means what are the different modes of communication in order to make the teachers to open up, in order to be very friendly, not only with the mentor, also with the group. That means the teammates, the other teacher researchers. Unless we are open, nobody knows what is our problem, and we may not find a suitable situation. And moreover, I might have one idea, but when I discuss the same with the other 7 teacher researchers, I may get 7 different ideas. That's the reason we need to learn from others, and everybody has got a hidden talent. So that's the reason our action research, our exploratory action research will become successful only when we are open, when we share with others, because sharing enhances our knowledge. So in order to boost up that, what to do? We need to go for different modes of communication. Let's have a look at different modes of communication. Here, the mentor has to decide what are the different modes of communication which can be used to reach the teacher researcher individually and also make a teacher researcher to be in relation to others. So what are the different modes of communication? We need to decide the different channels of communication first of all. What are they? There are many. For the first thing is face-to-face communication, might be individual or group based upon the need. As just we were discussing, during the different stages, we need to have the individual communication with the teacher researchers. And sometimes, if all that's a common problem faced by all the teacher researchers at the initial stages when we are going to discuss about the identification of the problem or narrowing down the topic, etc. Here, once again, we need to have a group meet. So, face-to-face meets can be individual and group. So first of all, we need to write on all the different modes of communication that can be taken up by the mentor, and we need to decide about how frequent, how often we can conduct this, and what if just now we have discussed what is the time or the day on which we are going to conduct this, and what is the duration. That means we need to decide this. That means in the planning stage itself, we have to go for this selection of different channels of communication and planning of different modes of communication. So face-to-face communication, video conferencing communication, definitely once again, both the modes, individual mode and group, telephonic mode of communication, through email also we can communicate, through text messaging also we can communicate, but individual and the groups. I mean to say, these are the different ways in which we can have the communication. That means we can reach our teacher researchers, both, vice versa. Communication is a two-way process. So the researcher and as well as the mentor, both of them can have the communication in all these ways. But once we decide these different types of modes of communication, now the next step is the foremost important step over here is, as a mentor, suppose when we talk about video conference, if a, if any of the teacher researchers in our team doesn't know something about video calls, only this is if I used, my dear friends, I know all of you are well versed with all these things, but if this is the responsibility of a mentor to make all the teacher researchers know how we can go for video conferencing and how we can use the emails and how we can go for the text message. Of course, this is not a problem today, everybody knows. So these are the different modes, and we need to decide all these things before we go for exact communication process. Then individual and face-to-face sessions. Let us see here. What is the role? That means actually what is the importance of this individual and face-to-face sessions? The first thing is, by the face-to-face sessions are individual session communication process with a one-to-one conversation. What can we do? We can clarify research questions and research methods. That means these are the areas. For these activities, we can have individual communication strategies. For discussing about the research questions, in nowadays we are doing the same thing. Before this month and the end of this month, we need to finalize the question, that be topic. So for that means we have to clarify the research question. So now what we are doing here, we are going for individual sessions wherein we need to clarify the research questions and research methods that can be adopted. And also we can have the individual sessions for analyzing the data and considering further actions. And we can also have them for reviewing and reporting and finding. That means in the reflective stage, in the analyzing stage, that means reflective stage, and the acting stage, and in the planning stage, we need the individual sessions. Because sometimes when we go for the selection of the topic, we need a further discussion to narrow down the topic. In the same way, tomorrow when we go for the collection and analysis of the data, once again we need to have the individual attention in providing the support related to the analysis of the data. And the same way, reporting on findings. Now, webinars and workshops. When to go for group meets? Just now we said that we can have both individual mode of communication and group communication. So webinars and workshops can be the fruitful ways for the group communications. And when can we go for webinars or workshops or group meets? One is matching research methods to research questions. That means when we after finalizing the research topic or research question, what kind of different methods can be? What are the suitable research methods that can be selected to continue our research? For that we can go for the group meet, because we go for discussion of different research methods which can be useful for almost all the teacher researchers. And also we can go for analyzing methods, analyzing interpretation data and planning action at this stage. And also how to share findings. That means whether it should be oral form or written form or at the journals, so we should send to the journals or we should go for a conference. So how to share our findings here also we can go for the webinars. And also actual sharing of findings possibly open to a wider public. So that means usually conference are publishing, etc. Here, in order to provide support related to these areas of exploratory action research, we can go for group meets through webinars or workshops. But these are the areas where we can go for individual sessions. So when we go for this, now the next question is the common challenges that are being faced with the people in communication. That is, the most of the teachers, mentors say that be flexible about channels of communication. Think of several means of communicate. The most important thing is to find the channel they are going to be comfortable with. I mean to say that in order to overcome these challenges, just now we were saying that the main problem here is lack of open communication. So in order to overcome this challenge, not only the planning of modes of communication, but we can also go for adoption of all these things in order to tackle these challenges. So that means we need to be flexible about the channels of communication based upon the needs of the teacher researchers, based upon the stage of exploratory action research they are going through. We can go for different channels of communication. It can be individual, it can be group, it can be telephonic conversations. And we are, once again we said that there should be a balance between our job and our project. That's the reason even the mentor is also a teacher, so he has to balance her time. That is the reason she has to balance her time, even her responsibility. So that's the reason here we need to go for planning and be flexible. Sometimes suppose that individual meets are daily and telephonic. I have planned for telephonic conversation and I wanted to have a telephonic conversation or communication with my teacher research every day for 10 minutes with one of the teacher researchers every day. But sometimes we can also be open at whatever the time you are free, you can approach me. But sometimes there are some timings at which we may not be available to them. For example, school timings. Then we may say, I'm sorry, except apart from these timings, you can be free to make a call like that. So don't be dogmatic. That means don't be communicating needs to be something well integrated with teachers' own lives. I mean to say that we may have different beliefs, but never try to make the people to follow the same beliefs. But the communication needs to be something well integrated with teachers' own lives, because whatever we do, once again, will be reflected upon our own lives. And many a times we select the problems that we face in our real life. That's the reason everything should be related to our own life. And our experience from our own lives will also help us to solve the problems. That's the reason suppose that I thought that this is a strategy which can be helpful, but that might not be exactly useful to one of my teacher researchers, because her own experiences and her own levels of learners will be different. That's the reason never try to make them to follow what we know or what our opinion. We may share our opinions, but let them be very free based upon their own experiences. For example, now consider providing training guidance about how to use particular communication tools if you are going to use a platform. So using a platform, some teachers are not comfortable, unfamiliar or uncomfortable with. I mean to say, we need to definitely provide the training or guidance, but once again, it should be familiar to all the teachers. If they are unfamiliar, we need to provide the training. That means, suppose that I say that we need to go for using some technological, these days we are all aware of many technological gadgets that can be used as strategies, now innovative strategies. But if the teacher researchers, any of the teacher researchers are unaware of them, we need to provide them the guidance. Either the usage of technology or the use of knowledge of different strategies and novel techniques that have been evolved in the teaching learning process. That means it is our role to provide training and guidance about how to use different communication tools, technological tools, different strategies and techniques that can be adopted. And also, we need to consider having a fixed time to meet. That means sometimes if we fix a time for the group meets, we need to consider to join the meet and make it successful. Then the last one is keeping records. So now we have got we have provided a structure. We gave them the stringent timelines. We were also flexible. We provided them the support by individual and group meets and different modes of communication. Now the next thing is, after doing everything and after finding a solution, are at different stages, what they are actually doing. That means what kind of problems they have faced with, how did they identify, what are they doing, at what time they did something, and what kind of different strategies and different suggestions the people have come up with for their problems. Everything should be kept as a record. So keeping records plays an important role for the mentor as well as the teacher researchers. So write a brief formal record of a meet. For example, I conducted a group meet weekly. I need to make a formal record of that meeting. That means what was discussed and agreements about the action points, deadlines, date, time of next meeting. That means what did we discuss? What did we agree upon? What kind of strategies we wanted to take up? What is the next meeting? What are the deadlines for this stage to be completed? And at what time the next meeting will be there? I have to make a record of everything so that I can follow it. And even I can supply to my teacher researchers so that they would also know what happened as if we write the minutes in our teacher meetings in our schools. Then that means to provide us a direction, to make us to be on track. This is very, very useful to us. Every time we meet, we need to maintain a record. In the same way, format of recording, how to record all these things. We can write in a journal in a notebook, written journal in a notebook, or keeping different documents for different teachers on your computer, audio video recording your thoughts. I mean to say that suppose I have got 7 teacher researchers and I will be taking up individual meets as well as group meets. So whatever I do in those meets, I will be maintaining a record of them so that I can have a sequential understanding of my teacher researchers and what I was doing, what I have been doing, where were they, in what way I have been helpful to them, and what to do next, or what kind of guidance I can extend to them in the next session. So in order to have a clear understanding about all my teacher researchers and the different phases of action research that is going upon, I need to maintain records, and that can be done either for maintaining a written journal in a notebook with separate pages prescribed for different teacher researchers, or I can also maintain that in my Google Docs, etc. Or I can also go for audio video recording of my thoughts related to them, so that I can say, okay, that in the last meet I said this. Now in the next meet I need to do this like that. And before I go for the next meet, I can go through that, I can review that, I can go for the next meet. And what are the uses of this recording actually? The first thing is it helps us for monitoring process. We need to monitor what is actually going on, where are we, and how to reformulate the things. So monitoring, it helps us for monitoring the action research project, and it also helps us for reporting purposes, but also for ongoing reflection into your practice. That means first we would be monitoring where are we, what to do, what next, how can we reform, and not only that, reporting purposes. That means what happened, how did it happen, which is useful, which is not useful, and then also ongoing reflection. That means after using a strategy, after planning and acting, whether it is successful or not, in what should I do next. So like that. And also it also provides us research into the practice. That means it makes us to implement that in our practice as a teacher. So this is what I mean to say, that is timeline, and also the communication, establishing the communication mode, and last one is keeping the thoughts. So in the end, I would like to summarize what actually we learned through this session. That is, by going through this, you can provide a structure for an agreed overall timeline with milestones and deadlines. Managing time can be difficult, but try to make things easier through predicting and planning. That means it is difficult, but we can make things easier through predicting and planning, prior planning and predicting. Establish effective channels of communication and schedule meetings in advance. And keeping records of meeting and of progress will help you and the teacher researchers to be successful in their project. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, sir. That's all for this.
Thank you, Roja ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
It's a wonderful and great input for all of us. Thank you for sharing a lot of information. And I told you in the beginning itself to share your timeline, but so far I didn't find anything there from the mentor side and the super mentor side. Please be
Oh.
prepared with that.
Sorry, sir. I would provide you within one. Actually, I planned it, sir. I wanted to show it here, but because of some unavoidable work, I couldn't upload it here. I would definitely.
You know, one thing is that if you do anything, let it just share in the group so that everyone will get an idea that we can do like this also.
Definitely.
This is most important aspect. Don't do it and keep it to yourself. Whatever you are doing, just post it in the group and ask the feedback and ask your friends to check it. So that is important.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
One or two reflections quickly, and Ishad is waiting.
Yes, sir.
Not more than one or two.
So shall we take the reflections after my
Okay.
presentation?
Okay, continue. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, fine.
Thank you,
Mamta ma'am, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Could you
I'm
please share the
sharing.
screen from my end? Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm sharing.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I am Syed Irshad Ali, PGT in English from TS Model School, Pegadapalli. First of all, I would like to thank all the 5 presenters who have presented and made my life so simple. Because my
Sir, is it
chapter.
visible?
Yes,
No,
yes.
ma'am. Yeah, now it is. Yeah, as I said, my life has been made so simple by the previous presenters, because you all know what actually mentoring teachers, what actually a teacher research is all about. All the 5 presenters have gave the detailed information about that, and my chapter is just a small thing wherein reflecting on. So could you please move on, ma'am? So my chapter will just summarize in just I would like to do that in 15 minutes if possible. Summarize all those 5 chapters, what a mentor needs to do, which is also important to all, not only to the teacher researchers but also to the mentors. So that is why reflecting on and researching your practice as a mentor. So as we all say, whatever you do, you need to reflect. So whenever you reflect, not just as a mentor but also reflecting your own mentorship, that really plays a significant role in making, as Roja Rani ma'am said, arranging the timeline, record keeping, and then making sure what we are going to talk about and how the things to be done. So we are going to talk about that. So Mamta ma'am, could you please? So first one, let me share you the objectives of the session so that it would be easy. Slide, please. Yeah, it is useful to document everybody's mentoring activities, including some of the interactions you have with teachers. I'm audible, Vinay sir?
Yes, sir. You
Yes,
are
yes.
audible.
Fine. Madam, could you please change that slide, or else no problem. Next slide.
Objectives.
Fine. The objectives of this session or this chapter is, it's always important to document, as ma'am clearly in detail have informed us what is the importance of documenting and also timeline. So whatever we does, and just now Vinay sir rightly said, whatever we does, we need to share, and before sharing we need to document. And I'm really happy, and I would like to tell that one of the best examples of documenting all is our Mamata ma'am. So she helped as a mentor to everybody. So we need to document all the activities, including some of the interactions with the teachers. Why is it important? We'll come to know. Systematically reflecting on and evaluating your practice is important to your continuing professional development as a mentor. When you say you are a mentor, you need to compulsorily understand that systematically reflecting and evaluating practice always helps us. So that is why we need to reflect on our classes. And then engaging in research into your own mentoring practice sets a good example. When I say I'm a mentor, okay, fine, my teacher researchers are looking up to me. Okay, how my mentor is working on his things, and how I go about my business. I always being in the everybody's weave, that how do I go about my business. So that's why I need to set some example so that they do understand. So I say, if I set a good example and can be of value to not only to others but also to my own development and also teacher research development. And why is it important? Why is it important? Because the activities that sustain teacher development apply equally to mentor development. As I said, it is same as uh, teachers development and mentor development. Okay, it's same give and take policy. What I expect from my teacher researchers, that is the same thing is expected from the other side. So regularly reflecting on and evaluating our own practice and researching it are keys to become an effective mentor. Fine. So the next thing is, additionally, being able to demonstrate to teacher researchers that you too are serious about professional development sets a perfect example, and it fetches you respect. So that means our teacher research will also look up to me, and if I am also reflecting on my own development, then they will also keep doing that whatever is expected from them. So at the same time, as we have already learned what needs to be done about timeline and what are importance, so planning to carefully document our reflections is really important. As just now Roja ma'am clearly said that planning and then executing and managing the things, understanding others is really important. So it will prove useful when evaluating my own experiences if I later want to share what I have done and learned with a wider audiences. So if I plan and reflect and document, that will help to keep that records and use in wider audiences. And if I can engage in systematic inquiry in the sense, collecting data about my own practice according to specific questions in my mind. As you all learned how to make the question and what the importance of question, how to explore. In the same way, as a mentor, I need to find out an area and I need to keep in my mind, and a systematic thing has to be done. Research into teacher research mentoring. So before that, one needs to always keep in mind that identifying points in the research process where self-reflection and self-evaluation of my own mentoring could be useful to me. So when I mentor my own, let's say I'm using I, because as a mentor, I need to self-assess so that I need to improve it so that I can help my own teacher researchers. So it's always important to identify those areas. How can I improve as a mentor? Or in the same case, when a teacher research do that, fine. So documenting and reflecting on what you do. So when you use the word documenting, it's quite simple. You need to keep a track record, in the sense you need to maintain a document. It's simple. You need to note down the things what you are doing. That is called a document in simple layman's language. So you can take a diary, or you can use an audio or video recorded. Just now, as Rosa Rani ma'am said, we can have webinars and all. When you do that, record it and keep it, and you can share the link. So you need to have that. For example, when you do these kind of documentation, issues will emerge from what you have done if you are writing. So these kind of issues can be addressed with the help of co-mentor, the person who is also into the mentoring. So you need to talk to them what are the challenges they are facing, and then you can make it simple for yourself. If you don't find anyone, you can yourself self mentor by looking into your challenges and trying to answer what could be the reasons for those challenges. Next, to make it simple, as I said, documenting to make that very simple. So you need to keep few questions. So I would like to share few questions that will help not only mentors but also teacher researchers. These simple questions will help everyone when you are reflecting on your teacher research, or when I am reflecting, let's say I'm looking into my own research. What successes have I had during this stage? What were the reasons for the success? I need to look at, first of all, what is the success, if at all I am looking at the success, then reasons for the success, and then what can I learn from these experience. Mamta ma'am, could you go to that slide please? Questions to reflect
This
on.
one?
No, we have missed it. Yeah, you need to go forward. Yeah, next one. Yeah, move on. One more, ma'am.
This
Yeah, here. Yeah, yes. So the next question you need to look at is, what can I learn from these experiences? As I say, what can I learn? Every opportunity, every challenge always gives scope to learn something. So through this experience of success or a failure or any challenge, it will teach you a lesson. So we need to look at that possibility of brighter side, and you need to know what you are going to learn. So and then what new skills have I developed during that course of time? I need to look at what are the new skills or abilities I have developed. What challenges have I faced during these stages? First, we have talked about successes. Next, now we are talking about challenges. So, what caused these challenges? Well, I mean to say, that what are the reasons for those challenges? And then, how do I react or manage myself during the challenging times? So, this is whenever you face a challenge, you need to reflect. How do you react myself? How do I finally overcome them? Every lock has a key, as we say. So we need to understand that how do I overcome that challenge. Everyone will overcome. There is no challenge which cannot be or overcome. So you need to find out that way, and you need to look at that way. And what can I learn from these experiences? So as I just now said, every challenge, every adversity teaches us. So we need to see that aspect. What can I learn? And then what disappointments have there been during this stage? Yeah, being a human, we all have disappointments, happiness. So when you talk about disappointment, do I need to change my expectations? So expectation and disappointments, I feel, goes hand in hand. Whenever there is a disappointment, that means you have expected more. So it's always good to expect little less, and not to get disappointed. Fine. So that is really important. Often related to disappointment is most often related to expectation. So as a mentor in different stages, we need to understand, we need to expect less so that we can be really happy. Vinay sir, am I audible? Yeah, sir, no, somebody is okay, fine. So when you are disappointed, you need to check one most important thing. Whenever as a mentor or teacher researcher, if you think about other, one very most important thing you need to understand is, you everyone, not just I think in teacher research but also in our real life, we need to understand when we are expecting something from others. Madam, can you move to next slide? How do we differ, and how do those differences influence our attitudes to each other? I think this is the most important thing we need to reflect on. When I expect a lot from someone, and if I don't get that, I need not to be disappointed, but I need to question this. It could be in anywhere in our life, but I need to find out how do we differ from other. Let's say I expected a lot from one of my teacher research, but I did not get that, or vice versa. Then I need to find out no two fingers are same in our hands. So how do we differ? We need to respect the differences also. So this is the most important aspect in mentoring and also working as a teacher research, because when you look at your students, you will understand this. And when you compare two different students also, you need to understand what are those differences influencing their attitudes and to each other. So can you move on to next one, ma'am? So that is why before I conclude, I would like to tell that it's very good idea to walk the talk, in the way when you are supposed to expect from others, it's always important to do that parallelly. When I am expecting my teacher researchers, when I have to mentor them, at the same time parallelly I need to do a research in my own mentoring. So that is why walk the talk, make it simple. When I do that, I will be appreciated and teachers will appreciate my own attempts to develop via practitioner research. Not, I'm not just mentoring, but also I'm also doing research. So could you go to the last slide? So to come to the conclusion, let me tell you one thing. After reflecting and after documenting, after understanding the timeline, after understanding the question, what is actually a teacher mentor is, let me relate this to entire chapter and to all the teacher researchers. One simple thing is, whatever we do in our life, we need to have this self reflection, self motivation, and being open to get the feedback are very important aspects for developing as a mentor. I personally feel not just as a developing as a mentor, but also developing as a human being, as a person. We need to always self reflect and we need to motivate ourselves and always be open to get the feedback. So on this positive note, I not only would like to share this, but also I would like to implement this in my own life. So I request you to please give your feedback. I'm open to get your feedback, because I am trying to reflecting on my own class, or what do you say, my presentation, because I'm self motivated, and that's why I have taken this one. So let's see. I hope I have pinpointed to my topic. And thank you very much to my entire team of mentors and also the all teacher researchers over there. Thank you very much, Vinay sir and TV Rao sir, Sampath sir, and all others behind this. And because of this, thanks a lot for giving this wonderful opportunity. Over to you, sir. Vinay sir, over to you.
Um, Thank you and congrats, Syed. TV Rao sir,
Thanks a lot.
sir, anyone? Mamata? Just one or two reflections.
Yeah, good evening all. Hearty congratulations to Roja ma'am and Irshad, who have explained their chapters very clearly, and they have given more enlightenment, and it has given further explanation of our journey. The long journey will be with your on the footsteps that you have, on the way that you have paved. We all follow. Particularly coming to timeline, time management, it is very much needed. We have, we are not school children, and we have own obligations. So we need to follow the timeline. So what we need to do is, first, super mentors would give general timeline, and mentors will decide the timeline for their team or teacher researchers, and everyone have to make a note of them, or else at least they have to, because it is not a 1 month process or 1 week process. It's a long time process, so we may forget the dates, time, and everything, so that we need to maintain a diary, or else we need to write on a calendar, year calendar, so the dates and timeline, everything, or else we have to make a note of all the things in our mobile, that we can see time and then, and we have to follow that, because sometimes we don't follow that. We have our own obligations, we have our busy schedules, we have our family obligations and teaching obligations. In that busy schedules, we may forget our time. and our schedules, particularly this schedule. So that time and then we have to look at them. So make a place where you can see all the things time and then, and you can remember these things, so that we can follow it we can follow punctually, meticulously, systematically, time to time. And sometimes one mentors, it's a duty of mentors to remind now and then, in advance to the teacher researchers. Yes, this is a time that you have to submit. This is time that you have to finish by this date. This task is by this date. Like that, mentor is supposed to remind them. And of course, teacher researchers also have to keep in the mind. And if it is maintained, but in a perfect manner, definitely our program will become successful.